Hi there, my name is Chris. I am the director of Digital Landscope. We participate in many hashtag events across the country. Big thank you to Andrew for having us on this little workshop today. And we're delighted to be exhibiting at plenty more of hashtag events, expos and exhibitions throughout 2026. So we've got a little bit of a demo and presentation today to run you guys through a few of the upcoming changes in SEO. So if you have a website and you are reliant on it for lead generation or purchases, or you maybe want to be, this is definitely something for you, as we're starting to see behavior change quite a lot over the past couple of years, where more businesses, more users are starting to use AI tools like AI mode and ChatGPT to really find what they're looking for. So we started testing answer engine optimization around about the start of 2025, really changing our whole business model around AEO and SEO together. Um, to really offer that full service for our clients. So ensuring that we're tracking everything that's going on through ChatGPT, what people are doing, and really how they're interacting. And for a number of our clients, which I'll run through in just a second, we found that more users are engaging with website content via ChatGPT. And another really interesting fact about it is we found that user engagement is far higher. So there's a lot of hype at the moment around, Google search is still where everyone is. To some extent, that's absolutely correct. But if we think about how engaged a user is in the LLMs, we found it's 2 or 3 times what it is on Google search. So if a standard user goes onto a website for 15 seconds, we find that it would be 40 to 45 seconds if they've came from ChatGPT or Google AI mode. So it's one of those where we're finding users are more engaged, which means it's necessary to optimize for that platform. So what we're finding again is that 300 users on Google search is as good as 100 users or 150 users on the LLMs. So it really highlights how engaged they are, how willing to commit and purchase or make an inquiry that they are as well. So throughout this session, I would like to take you really through what you can do with your website if you have an in-house marketing team, or if it's yourself that's managing the website. I want to take you through how you can start to use AEO and SEO in a proper way, because there's not enough information out there, and that's really what our job is to do throughout 2026, is to supply businesses with that information so they can start to get that appearance in ChatGPT. So when someone types in a relevant prompt, you want your website to be there in response to that prompt. So we'll start to take a little wander through our presentation here. So what we always like to ask at some of the expos is, how have people found your website? Is it via social media? Is it via direct? Is it via events, email marketing? Maybe you've got other sources at play. What we found again is that the power of SEO is so strong, and as well as AEO. Far higher, far greater than the likes of Google Ads and PPC at times as well. So again, it all comes down to the power of the conversion rate. For many clients, we have really been able to turn off the Google Ads campaign because it's been so costly for very little return, or very poor leads, to allow them to get those really high quality organic and AI leads as well. So it's really important to understand where your users are coming from. Well, we'll run through some of the free tools that you can use to learn where your ideal users are coming from as well. through things like Google Analytics, and understanding that user data will allow you to have a more comprehensive marketing strategy as a whole, and not just through SEO. So some of the common formats we found who are generating conversions for ourselves and our clients are the likes of ChatGPT, Copilot, AI mode, Claude, Grok, Perplexity. There's a whole number of LLMs where you can influence where your website is in relation to that. A little bit more of a note on our testing website. So we purchased the domain aeoagency.co.uk, which served as our primary testing domain. On that domain, we tested all sorts of techniques like FAQs, schemas, structured data, as well as some short form blog content. And we really got into the knack of finding out what really works with the LLMs. And really, the best advice we can give is that it has to be a combined approach with your SEO strategy. So there are some fundamental SEO practices that need to be followed, which I'll also run through, but you also have an extra set of techniques dependent on your website as well. So we've had leads coming in from all over the world purely because of the power of our AEO website. When someone's been typing in AEO Agency UK or where can I find an AEO agency, highly competitive. And because of the power of our testing, we were able to get that core appearance in AI responses, which has led to some really high quality leads, again, from all over the world. So we'll just go through to the next page. So a little bit of a background into Digital Landscope. So we are an SEO agency based just outside of Glasgow in Paisley. Here's some lovely pictures of ourselves. I never usually wear a waistcoat, so enjoy it. So again, we are primarily an SEO agency. We do some website builds. However, our primary focus is on building presence on Google search and LLMs to increase the amount of leads that you're getting through your website on a monthly basis to really push that further, all with ROI and return on investment in mind. So again, obviously it's the fastest growing application in history, as we very well know. So I'll move myself out of the way a little bit here. So this is one of our clients. So Pizza Geeks we've worked with for a little while now, allowing them to really push their core appearance throughout the Google search and the LLM. So as you can see here, when we started working with them back in July 2025, it was about 1,700 sessions. So we managed to push that further to 2,800 sessions per month by September. So good increase of just got to 64% in terms of organic search, and that's in relation more specifically to Google search. And then you can see here the level of appearance we're able to get in AI through some really kind of targeted techniques. So when you type in where to get pizza delivery in Edinburgh, you get hugely competitive terms. This client was one of the clients who really thought that they weren't able to get enough of that appearance in the LLMs because of how competitive the market is. If you think about the Domino's, the Papa John's, it seems like an unbelievable task to be able to get a website to appear above them for specific terms, but with the right kind of targeting and strategy, this is the kind of results we were able to really achieve. So where to get pizza delivery Edinburgh, super competitive, and as you can see, our client is right up the top there. Links to their websites with referrals flowing nicely through, especially prevalent as well for the kind of users that they type in a phrase like this. A big student presence in Edinburgh. So if you think about the way that students interact with on search and social media and everything like that, ChatGPT and the LLMs are really fundamental to that as well. So again, really great targeting and really happy with what we were able to do for this client. Another example is one of our clients over in the US who sells keyboard covers. And as you can see, I'll tell you how to do this as well for your website later in this presentation. You can see here the session source is basically filtered to be ChatGPT, Perplexity, and some of the other LLMs. So we can see exactly what's coming through ChatGPT. So you can see there throughout this month there was 10 items purchased in a month in late 2025 directly through ChatGPT. Again, this is just the start as well. This is the way that users are really going. We saw that AI mode came through very recently. It was playing catch up to ChatGPT, and already they've got the add file icon in the standard Google search and a big AI mode button. So it's no longer an extra add-on on the Google search tab. People are being drawn into it and to basically get thrown into Google AI mode. Just a few more examples of some of the results we've found for some of our clients. So a company called Paper Shredding Services, a local company to us, where we've able to really get them appearance in things like AI overviews when users are typing in what is media destruction. A bathroom company, again here by Glasgow. So when people are like, what is a good Glasgow bathroom company, we're able to get that core appearance again through some of that really direct targeting. And this is also an example of our testing website where we ourselves were able to really gain leads. Is that core terms like AEO agency, and you can see here the way that we've structured the data and told the LLMs to find ourselves through the search term, with also having a separate website for AEO and testing. It's all basically coming up in exactly the way that we want it to be, with links to the website as well. So we'll just move through now to a little bit of an overview on really what makes AEO and SEO work. So it comes down to a couple of core factors. So things like customer experience. So how is the user flowing through the website? What is the navigation like? How easy is it for them to convert? And this is a direct ranking signal as well, and something we need to pay a lot of attention to. Another 25% of what makes it work is backlink implementation. So ensuring that you have high quality websites linking back to your website, providing you with domain authority. Domain authority allows you to rank for more competitive keywords on Google search and the LLMs. So something that has been about for a long time in SEO is still really important in AEO as well. Technical optimization, things like how Google Search Console crawls your pages, and obviously the all-important keyword distribution. And this becomes more relevant when we have to look at questions that users are asking, as opposed to keywords that users are asking as well. So it's a really fine balance that needs to be struck between optimizing keywords and optimizing for questions. But again, I'll talk you through some of the things that we do to further that for some of our clients. But again, all important keyword distribution, having your keywords in different parts of your website, making sure every page is doing its own thing and pulling traffic in for a different reason. So inserting keywords in the metadata, the alt text, copy, ensuring that it's very human written. Is a great signal, ensuring that you've got fresh content, fresh blog posts going up all of the time to allow you again to have each post or page pulling traffic in for that really specific reason. And I'll just go through now to a few notes on why it matters. Some of these may be fairly obvious as well. So things like brand messaging, reaching the ideal user, the high quality traffic, promoting any new content, any new product, and obviously the all-important competitor presence as well, and really showing the power in the industry. So without further ado, we'll go on to what we're going to learn over the session, things like leveraging WordPress for answer engine optimization, how to safely implement some of the backlink processes you need, how to carry out and implement keyword research, creation of strategies, customer experience, technical maintenance, and some of the tools that you can use to really get started today and start to be able to really push your presence further. And as I've mentioned a few times before, when we look at AEO, we must look at SEO first. So it follows some of those core signals like the backlinks, technical signals, a customer experience. Let's face it, if your website doesn't work on mobile, then there's no point looking at AEO. You need to make sure all these things are in order and do SEO and AEO very much at the same time. And when we look at some of the AEO signals. So in terms of WordPress, I just want to show you a few parts of WordPress again that come down to the fundamental parts of SEO that you need for AEO as well. Some people think AEO is a standalone service. It's very much not. It needs to be included together with SEO. So I'm just gonna come out of the screen a little bit here. And we're going to move through to one of our websites. So this is a website targeting the manufacturing industry where we post quite regularly, really on different movements in the manufacturing industry when it comes to SEO and AEO. So I'll take you through WordPress, which again, most websites are on. Shopify if it's e-commerce, WordPress if it's info-based, or sometimes we see Wix websites and Squarespace sites as well. But WordPress is the most common and the one we always recommend as well. So if I take you through this part, so once you're in the back end of WordPress, you hit your edit with Elementor, or maybe you've got the classic editor, and then it will pull up your page, and then we can start to see where we want to insert our keywords. So again, if this page wants to rank for SEO for manufacturing, we'll want to target that in here. So we'd want to put in why SEO for manufacturing only. So that's one keyword mention. We'd want to put it in some of the different descriptions as well. So we'd be like, manufacturing is complex, technical, B2B driven and often underserved by traditional marketing agencies. And then I would add a little bit in there that says, especially when we look at SEO for manufacturing. So it's another mention. So you mention it multiple times throughout that page for that given keyword to push its prominence further. So when Google crawls this specific page, it understands the relevance of that keyword. We would want to look at things like alt text as well. So you can see here, someone's already been in here, one of my colleagues, to really target specific phrases. So if we were wanting to target SEO for manufacturing in here, this is where we would put that in. So you'd want to look at things like your URLs as well. So if we click on this little plus symbol, and then we go to our settings, usually it's Yoast SEO, which you can install for WordPress completely free, which allows you to edit your metadata, and that is what people see on the Google search results as well. So another opportunity to push your brand presence further. It's either Yoast SEO or Rank Math, but again, we always recommend Yoast SEO. So in here, we would want to type in, if we wanted to rank for SEO for manufacturing, we would type in SEO for manufacturing in here, and then we would want to write a nice meta description. So again, we're following best practices here, so 70 odd characters maximum for our meta title, and then 120 to 160 characters for your meta description. The great thing about Yoast is it basically tells you how you're doing for character length in here. As you can see by all my S's, when it turns green, that means that you're in the right kind of character limit for what you're writing about. So that's really the fundamentals of the on-page SEO for WordPress, your keyword distribution. If we look at how to make a specific page really do its own thing for that specific reason. So we'll just come back into here now, and I'll just take you through a few more aspects of really how you can push your presence further. Just go in here. So things like FAQs as well, we can insert to help rank for specific questions, but I'll touch on that more later because again, the fundamental SEO principles are so important to get right, and then you can look at AEO. So again, you can't have AEO without SEO, if you know what I mean. So this was another little example of how we helped one of our clients push further for location-specific terms, called Kilthire Glasgow. So again, when someone types in Kilthire Glasgow, a really competitive search term, as you can see here, you would need a number of referring domains that they call it to be able to rank for that phrase. So it's categorized as quite a hard keyword to rank for. Search volume of about 1,100 users for that one phrase in the UK alone. So throughout all of our core targeting, we were able to help this Paisley kilt makers, who we still work with today, all these years later, to be able to push their presence further. So now what we're doing for this client beyond Glasgow is we're helping them spread out into new areas. We're helping them rank for Stirling keywords, Hillington keywords, to really dominate the market. And they really have taken over the higher scene within Paisley, Renfrewshire, Glasgow and surrounding areas. So content is absolutely king. I've got ahead of myself there. Content is absolutely king. So low content page is usually flagged. So again, making sure that it's full of really great ranking content. Every bit of text on the website is an opportunity. Topical authority is really where you're wanting to be regarded as an expert in your industry. So it all talks to each other. So if you have a page or a post ranking for a specific reason, you want everything really echoing that same kind of theme, that same brand voice, to be able to say that you are the expert to Google when it crawls your website. So moving through, so where we implement keywords, keyword facts, we've got a few points around what are keywords, so things like primary keywords. And I'll just quickly skim through this because I don't want to focus too much on this side, but we do have things like informational keywords, which are sometimes question-based, more relevant for the LLMs and your AEO strategy. Navigational keywords, where someone is looking directly for a specific website. We've got transactional, so where someone is ready to really dive deeper into their research. And then we've got commercial keywords, so where someone is really ready to make that purchase. So there's a little link here, which again we won't go into, but again this is in the PDF if you're following along. We'll stop this guy here.
Demo and what?
And then we'll zoom out. The joys of having videos and presentations. I should know by now. Just to present this again. So things like long tail keywords. We find long tail keywords are more relevant as well when it comes to AEO. They're the longer phrases that we find that users are looking for. So they could be a long sentence, but if you really drill it down to the keyword research first, that's the most important thing. So again, we know things like best practices for metadata and alt text. A little neat trick as well, is you can see what your competitors are really up to. So if you type in control U, you can actually see what everyone is doing. So if I go to our website here, I hit control U, I can see Yoast SEO, you can see everything. This may look quite complex, but it's actually not. So if you're looking for this here, so meta name description, I can see the meta description here, and I can see the SEO title here, which is your meta title. So that's all the stuff we were edited in within Yoast. Was just here, so you can see meta description and your meta title as well. So you can see what your competitors are doing. I wouldn't recommend to steal their metadata for keywords, but you can you can change it up a little bit. At least you can see exactly what they're doing at that given point. So again, I'm just going to move through here to another really important part of SEO, which is the backlinks. So backlinks, as we know, really make up 25% of what makes a website do well on search. So things like mass links on Fiverr, spammy backlinks, not recommended. We need high quality links more than anything. We need to basically be able to tell Google that it's a trustworthy website. We can only do that by building authority on that domain. So again, looking at a few examples, this was one of our previous clients who got hit with an attack from spammy backlinks. You can see that they got really tanked there. So this is what happens if you go onto Fiverr and if you go and apply for all of these thousands of rubbish links with low domain ratings. Whereas you can see from the birth of our website a couple of years ago now, you can see the way that it's basically gone up the way in terms of referring domains, and then the authority has really followed that trajectory as well. So just moving through, if you are obviously following this online, you'll have this PDF, and you can download these little videos. A couple of helpful things to be able to get a better grasp on some of these aspects. And core types of link building, things like directory placements are super important. And then things like guest posts, you can do broken backlinks. But the best way to do it, if you think about the likes of Yell.com, Yell, not recommended for SEO services. We've not heard the best of things about them. However, they are a directory. So if you think about the amount of directories that you have in the UK, you are able to basically put a link from that website to your website, and you're pretty much guaranteed that it's going to be a high authority domain because it's a reputable directory. So to get started with backlinks, the best thing to do if your website's fairly new is just type in small business directories UK into Google search or ChatGPT, and then you have a list of ones to implement and start to work through to get that initial authority. There are some more slightly advanced ways of doing these things, and I will let you in on a little bit of a secret here. Which is one of our AEO techniques, which is brand mentions. So this is something which we developed in our testing phase. So whenever we do links, we try and link back either to a specific page or their website. And what we'll do is we'll insert a sentence with keywords in that sentence that we want to basically rank for on search. So when you combine the power of a great on-page SEO with Yoast, a great customer experience, great technical optimization, and then you have these brand mentions all throughout the web, pointing back to your website, basically with a couple of sentences on what the brand is about, and we'll include keywords in there. So again, it's more mentions. So when ChatGPT and even Google crawls the web for information, it's basically finding all of these little nuggets of information in addition to your powerful on-page SEO content on your website. So it's all of that together which really help it to push further for the likes of your SEO and your AEO. Few points on technical. Again, I won't dive too much into this, but you need to know things like the way that Google indexes content. Like, it doesn't index content straight away. Sometimes you need to give it a bit of a push so you can manually index that in Google Search Console, which is free of charge. And in a moment, I'll run through some of the free tools like Search Console, analytics that you can use to really identify what you're doing on search in terms of technical SEO. So next, that brings us to UX and customer experience. So really, it serves a number of purposes for your user. They need to be able to convert, but also from Google's point of view, it is absolutely a ranking signal as well. So ensuring that you have the right kind of navigation, it's in line with your brand guidelines, you have that brand voice throughout the website, but it's really mostly about how they're engaging with your content. We have various tools like Hotjar where we use heat maps to identify where a user is clicking on a website to help drive conversions. Again, navigation is key. So a little bit of a breakdown on mobile versus desktop. It's completely dependent on who your target audience is. So if they are, if you're in the trades or a cleaning company or a glazing company, something like that, where your customer is your end user, and very much B2C, mobile will be the core focus. And equally, if you are B2B, manufacturing, and your target is other businesses, so you're B2B, then it's going to be desktop, and the split's usually about 80/20 for B2B companies for desktop versus mobile. So it's important to make sure that you're optimizing for the right market in terms of some of your web design aspects. And again, we like to look at heat maps in terms of how users behaving for this part. So just to move through now to some of the strategy points. So really important to look at your trajectory. So if you're doing this as part of an in-house team, or if you're working with an agency, really want to define where you want to be in 3 to 6 months time. So looking at things like audit findings, again, I'll show you a few free tools in a moment for that. Looking at target pages, really your messaging to the market as well, carrying out keyword research. And again, this can be things like a manual Google search, looking at competitors, hitting that control Q function, like I mentioned earlier, and really considering how many hours you're going to spend on this on a monthly basis, because SEO is not a one trick does it all. It's really a monthly process that needs done. So again, looking at things like algorithm changes and competitors working on their SEO and AEO, really you do need to do this on a monthly basis. So commit to the amount of hours that you're going to spend on these core areas. Again, we look at the SEO side first, the customer experience, which we just went over there, the backlinks, so putting links on directories, and then we've got the the other aspects like the blog posting quite regularly, keyword distribution, again making sure that every part is really doing its bit for the strength of the website and ensuring that you continue with SEO maintenance wherever possible. So now time to look at a couple of free tools or free two free tools. We look at things like Screaming Frog. So Screaming Frog first is a great tool on the technical side because it allows you to see what's going on with the website, and it's a completely free tool to look at any kind of technical issues with the site. So I will just give a very brief overview on Screaming Frog because it's one of our go-to tools. We have the paid version, obviously, but it's worth looking at the free version because it lets you crawl up to 500 URLs in a single stroke, really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our manufacturing website and I'll just bring it over into here. So insert a URL, let's start, and then you'll see it will start to crawl the website. It uses a similar method to the way that some of your search engines are going to crawl content. But again, it allows you to see everything that's really going on with the site, all of the issues. So if then this is a fairly unoptimized site, something I wish we had more time for this manufacturing site. But again, when we look at some of the issues, this allows us to have a good breakdown on what needs changed really. So again, straight away we see things like H1s, H2s. So we want to make sure that we've got each heading doing its own thing and we've not got multiple of the same. Again, this hasn't been touched since it was built, so could really do with an overhaul. We've got a few things like missing method descriptions, where we'll want to insert those within best practices. Same kind of thing with your page titles too, to ensure that we've got that kind of proper way of doing things in terms of they are actually within that character limit. So they are sending the right kinds of signals. So this gives you a good basis for what pages have what opportunities. So when we come into this, we'll say, right, okay, so this category here, this category needs to be overhauled. So we need to have meta descriptions in there with keywords that we want to rank for that given page. But it's just a really great tool to allow us to see the technical issues and where we can start to insert some of that metadata. The next free tool is SEO Optimer. It's a fairly basic tool, but again, on the free version, you can get a basic overview for how the website is performing. It'll tell you things like the page speed score and things like that. So it is quite a helpful tool. Search Console, absolutely invaluable because it allows you to see the search positioning for certain phrases. So again, I'll give you a little example of that, and I will just bring this up in just a moment. For a manufacturing website as well. Again, just to bring this over. So this allows us to see exactly what's going on again on our website for manufacturing. Which, as we know, by looking at Screaming Frog, it needs a little bit of an overhaul. But it allows us to see really what people are doing. So if we click average position, we can see what's where. So for this website, the initial idea was that it was going to be purely for manufacturing brands to find us. So the rankings are okay. I wouldn't say they're amazing at all. So like position 20 on average for some of their core phrases. However, we want to enhance this, and as we saw in Screaming Frog, a lot of missing metadata we can capitalize on. If we were to put this through SEO Optima, we see a few things to do with page load times, which can be improved. Backlinks as well, we can start to build those. So by doing all of these core points that really make up SEO, we can push these keywords further, which then starts to bring us into a place where we can do AEO for the website. So as a rule, we'd want to do the SEO and the AEO really at the same time. So we would be doing backlinks on a monthly basis. We'd be overhauling the metadata, doing our SEO maintenance, and various other different practices alongside some of the AEO techniques like FAQs and schemas and some of the more advanced implementation side of things. When it comes to paid tools, we always recommend Ahrefs as best in class, to be honest. You've got SEMrush, you've got Moz, you've got a lot of tools, but Ahrefs has been the most accurate that we've found when we're doing our auditing of our clients' websites. So first, I just want to really take a little look into GA4 for you and really let you know how you can see some of that core data and really understand that. So again, Google Analytics, completely free to set up. And there's a couple of things you need to do in WordPress, like insert a little bit of tracking code, because you basically want it to pick up all of your website data, everything that users are doing on the site. So if I go over to our analytics account, and we can start to get a gauge for really what's going on at the moment. So we can see here, because it's been the festive period, we can see that website traffic for organic search for this website is down a little bit. Again, that usually happens. We can see where these users are coming from. And then if I go over to our admin panel, you can see the data streams. So if we click on this here, this is basically how it's set up for the website. So this little data stream is where your analytics tag is. It is a fairly easy process. If you're using WordPress, you can use plugins like Cited, which do all of this kind of technical setup for you. And then you'll just basically want to make sure that it's reporting okay. And then you can start to have a look at traffic. You can look at sessions. So if we go over to reports, and then if we go over to engagement events, this is where you'll see things like form submissions, acquisition, helps you understand where users are basically coming from, which again is really, really useful. So if I click on overview here, and then if I can basically filter this once I go into user acquisition, and then we can add a filter in here. So we're doing session source / medium, exactly matches. And then if you type in referral, you can start to pick out those that are the AI tools in the LLM. So you can see Perplexity there, ChatGPT will be there, Grok will be there, and then you can basically start to filter this down so you can see what traffic's coming from where, what it's doing, not only for your standard direct organic search, referral, organic social, but you can also see your AI and your LLMs, which is really crucial because you can track that progress really effectively. So just coming in to slightly wrap things up, a little bit of an overview again, what makes AEO and SEO really work is customer experience, backlinks, technical optimization, keywords, but again, also some of the fundamental AEO principles like adding FAQs, schemas. Everything should really be bespoke as per the website though, so you really want to audit what you can do with your website. So you want to see other major technical issues, what industry is it in, what competitors do I have, and again, don't underestimate the power of a manual Google search, looking at your competitors. So again, as mentioned, a couple of our AEO deployments include FAQs, include schemas, tons of content, super relevant. Doing things like the brand mention technique. Again, all of our client strategies are very much bespoke to what they are doing in their industry. We look at competitors in a lot of detail. We take parts of their strategy. So again, everyone needs to be assessed accordingly. But these are a couple of methods which can be used to further AEO, providing that you're working on the other areas, the backlinks, the keyword distribution, the technical optimization, all of these different areas, but also you can do these as well. So adding a couple of FAQs on the website for keywords that are relevant to your website is a great way to really start things off. So a little bit of a note again on those free tools. G4, absolutely essential, your analytics, understand where everyone is coming from. And what is the most important when it comes to measuring success? Obviously, your return on investment, your inquiries, your purchases. So if you're currently with an agency and they're not feeding information back to you about how many people are contacting you or submitting your contact form or phoning you, then that's something which needs to be looked at. So again, massive thank you for your time today. If you have any questions, we are always here to assist in terms of SEO and AEO. I know this has been a bit of an information dump, but unfortunately we can't go through AEO without looking at SEO. So again, remember the two always go together. And if you want to learn more for your website, simply scan this little QR code and you can reach out to us. Thank you again for your time. Thank you to Andrew over at Hashtag for having me on today. My name is Chris Glynn from Digital Landscope. Take care and see you soon.